Hi, I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of Regalytics. Here's your update on this week's 22,575 regulatory alerts. The regulator of the week is the CFTC. First, they issued an alert on fraud in the carbon markets, signaling that they must be seeing some sort of uptick in this area. They're particularly worried about ghost credits, double counting, and any other fraud, including manipulation of the tokenized carbon markets. They're reminding people about the whistleblower program where you can actually make money if you help the CFTC catch fraud. The CFTC is also starting a review over political event contracts. First of all, it is just amazing what people can bet on. There are registered event contracts that you can look up on the CFTC's website for things like whether or not there will be a party nominee by a certain date, or will the Federal Reserve's balance sheet be above or below a certain count by a certain date. So these contracts get certified by the CFTC and people can buy or sell them almost like insurance, so that if the item comes true or not, you can protect your risk in that area. But a new contract by a company called Kalshi came out with a swap associated with, will the party, either Democrat or Republican, be in control of a given chamber of Congress, meaning the House or the Senate. That means if you have some sort of economic plans that are contingent on the Democrats or the Republicans being in charge, then you can mitigate the risk by buying a swap. You pay a fee, and if it goes your way, great. And if it doesn't go your way, great, because the contract will pay out on whatever side of the risk you're trying to de-risk is. The CFTC put a pause and a 90-day investigation period into place on this whole topic. They got over 200 letters from economists and market participants sharing if they thought it was contrary to the public interest or not. And it's just a really interesting issue to think about. It's gambling on politics. Should that be allowed? Finally, the CFTC nailed a group for pig butchering, which I talked about a few months ago. It's when you get someone to you try to pursue them romantically, they get all, emotional and happy, like you're fattening them up, and then you would persuade them to invest in something, usually crypto, and once they send the money, then you're nowhere to be found. So the CFTC caught a group doing this that stole 1.3 million, and they're shut down. So good job, CFTC. The topic of the week is the INFORM Act. Probably no one's heard of it, except last week the FTC mailed 50 letters to online marketplaces. Think eBay, Amazon, Facebook, Etsy, reminding them to comply with the new Integrity, Notification, and Fairness in Online Retail Marketplaces for Consumer Act, or the INFORM Consumers Act, which came into effect yesterday. Basically, every mistake is 50 grand. Amazon needs to be sure that the people selling things on Amazon aren't selling stolen goods. So it's kind of like the AML KYC for online marketing companies instead of banks. So they need to be asking certain high volume sellers to confirm that they truly own the stuff they're selling. And speaking of fraud, the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, as well as the Canadian Securities Administrators, are trying to prevent people from falling for a scam out there where the DFPI and CSA are claiming to have control of your crypto cold wallet and need you to pay them upfront fees in order to release the funds. This is BS, obviously, so don't fall for it. What else? The Fed published a database of financial institutions who have access to or have requested access to the Federal Reserve Bank master accounts and services. This is the result of a brouhaha a few years ago over a fintech startup that had access, and the Fed totally failed to see any conflicts of interest around it. So now it's completely transparent and everyone can see it. Credit Suisse is in trouble again for 9,000 late trades that weren't reported in the new trace system. It's only a $900,000 fine, which is chump change, but I'm sure those bills are adding up for UBS. Moving on to the states, there's an interesting action going on in Pennsylvania, which is pushing to stop electric generation facilities in the state from providing behind the meter electric energy to crypto asset mining operations. It was proposed on the 21st and had a hearing already yesterday, so this one's moving fast. I'm not sure what brought it on, but seems to be a big deal. Meanwhile, Oregon passed Senate Bill 3, which requires Oregon students to take a personal finance class in high school. And this is on the heels of the announcement from the Oregon Retirement Savings Board and the state treasurer that a program Oregon launched in 2017 called Oregon Saves has just passed a pretty big milestone. This program, which is the first of its kind, was to promote retirement savings by Oregonians. And apparently the program has now hit over 200 million in savings. And it started with the largest employers, and the final iteration of it goes to all employers with 4 or fewer employees. And Oregon is the first state to go this granular down to the small businesses. Last one. This week, New York introduced the New York State American Freedmen Equity Task Force on Reparations Remedies Act, which is acknowledging New York's role in the fundamental injustice and humanity of slavery. And it actually makes an appropriation of $72 million to this Freedmen's Bureau, which is going to conduct genealogical research and dole out cash. So we'll see if that passes. And that's it this week for Regalytics. I'll see you next Wednesday to dish out the latest regulatory news.